Hi, I'm Royce Morales. I am a transformational facilitator, spiritual teacher, author of 3 books, and I have a radio show called Listen Up with Royce Morales. Today, I'm going to be talking about mirroring, which I think is the most important topic that I get into in my classes. And I'm going to give you a brief understanding of how mirrors work, and then I'm going to get into it even more in the following videos that I do. So basically, mirroring is a mechanism that shows you whatever it is that you are suppressing, whether it be fears or beliefs or notions about yourself that you don't like, or judgments, all of those things that we've learned to push down and suppress. Now, the reason that we have mirrors is so that we can wake up and get in touch with those areas that we've suppressed. Now, it's kind of like the law of energy that I did not invent, but basically the law of energy says that there's nothing that can be suppressed in the world. If you push something down, it has to come up somewhere else. And I compare it to a seesaw. I'm sure you've seen a seesaw before. So push down one side of that seesaw and the other side comes up. And it's the same thing with our subconscious. So we're pushing something down, it's going to come up in some way in our life. And there's lots of different ways that it shows up. And I'm going to give you a lot of examples in the next video that I do. But just suffice to say, it shows up by people acting a certain way, people stating things to us, people withholding from us, and also as a magnification, which I'll get into in a couple of minutes. So those are the 4 basic ways that mirrors show up. So how do we get programmed? And let me just give you the basics of that. There's a lot of different ways, but the primary and most powerful way that our subconscious mind gets programmed is during pain or loss. And these experiences are the most powerful when we're quite young, even before the age of 3. So if our big brother hit us over the head with his baseball bat and, that caused pain or some sort of loss to us, we make decisions right then. And those decisions can be about ourselves or others or life in general. And from that point on, those decisions get locked in our subconscious and we start acting from them. We start living from whatever it is that we decided. So maybe we decided that boys are violent, or baseball bats are dangerous, or life is scary and causes pain. Probably the most important decision that we make is the one that we make about ourselves. And I'm saying one, but there can be dozens. So maybe I decided that I can't take care of myself, or I caused my brother to get pissed off and hit me. So those decisions, like I said, become locked in our subconscious and we live from them from that point on. And what happens is, because we're pushing it down, we then start attracting or seeing or creating, manipulating subconsciously situations that show us a mirror of what it is that we have suppressed. So as an adult, we find ourselves always finding that one violent man and then thinking, God, why are men so violent? Or perhaps from that point on, we believe we can't take care of ourselves. And so we let our health go, or we find ourselves feeling weak in certain situations, etc. So all of those things in our subconscious start to show up. And instead of realizing that it's a mirror, something that we've suppressed, we get pissed off at whatever it is that's showing up. So we meet a man and he's violent toward us. Instead of realizing, oh, that guy is just showing me, he's mirroring, he's reflecting a part of me that decided that that's how men are. So instead of seeing it like that, we get angry and we have our buttons pushed and we try to get rid of him, or we leave the situation, or we feel victimized, etc. So as you can see, mirrors are pretty big. And there's a couple of reasons why we start having these mirrors in our life. I'm going to give you 2 big reasons. The first one and this is the good one. The first one is that on a higher consciousness level, now what is higher consciousness? That's our spirit, that's our soul, that's who we really are. That's the part of us that wants to grow and evolve and become more loving. So on that level, we attract situations, or we perceive things in the way that we do, so that we can wake up and get in touch with those old incidents that have programmed us, so that we can heal from that, so we can resolve that and let it go. So that's the part of us that really wants us to remember, so we can get in touch with these things and release them and be free of them. The other reason that we attract or choose or discover mirrors in our life is what I refer to as our fear-based consciousness reason. Now, the fear-based consciousness is the part of us that was programmed, and the part that functions from fear and is always trying to protect us. It's a very primitive, the lizard brain, whatever you want to call it. I call it fear-based consciousness. So that part of us, because we decided these things in life, about our violent brother and baseball bats and all of that, because we made decisions about those things, it constantly needs to confirm that those decisions were accurate. It's looking for evidence. It's looking for proof that what we decided was true. So we go through life and go to a baseball game, and we're always waiting for that baseball bat to come flying out and hitting us in the head, because that's what we decided is true. Or we go out with a guy, and because we believe that men are violent, we're always waiting for that to happen. And so we're literally sending out subconscious thoughts to have that mirrored to us. And guess what? Whatever you send out thoughts about, you do receive. So again, that's the seesaw trying to balance itself out by showing up, so that we can either heal it, or we can sit there and go, yeah, I knew it. Men are all violent. So those are the two reasons. I was mentioning before that mirrors show up in basically 4 ways. And the first way is by having others act a certain way around us. So again, we have these men that act violent around us, or we have situations that show up that prove that we're right, because people are all acting that way. We seek it out, we look for it, we attract it. That's number one. The second way that mirrors show up is by having others state our biggest mirrors to us. I always use myself as an example. I used to have this issue about my hair. I hated the fact that I had curly hair. And wherever I went, well, maybe not wherever, but a lot of places I went, people would say, oh, your hair looks so weird. And, why don't you do something? Why don't you straighten it out? So they were mirroring my deepest fear about the judgment I had about my hair. That's what I would attract. So that's the second way, people stating whatever it is that we are suppressing. The third way is really kind of sad, but again, it's just a mirror and it's showing us something, but it's by people and situations withholding certain things from us. So we could work our tails off and try to get ahead, but if something gets mirrored to us that says, no, you don't deserve, so that becomes the withholding end of the mirror. So whatever it is that we truly believe that we don't deserve, or that we do deserve, gets reflected to us. And we try really hard to get past it, but it just won't happen, because we've got this subconscious program going on. This is all you deserve. You deserve this much. And the fourth way is, nobody likes this, the magnification mirror. This is when we really, really, really need to get something about ourselves. Something is so deeply suppressed, or maybe we just have a little tiny bit of it left. So our higher consciousness says, okay, what's the best way for you to get the mirror? We'll have it magnified for you. So here it is in your face in a big, huge version, which kind of leads me to mention that sometimes mirrors don't show up as an exact reflection. They can show up as symbolic reflections. So I had a student one time that was dating a man that was a really heavy duty drug addict. And she kept saying to me, I don't know, I don't understand. I'm not a drug addict. What could he possibly be mirroring to me? And finally, she figured out that he was mirroring what the drug addictness symbolized to her, which meant irresponsibility and not caring about himself. And so she looked at the mirror of that and she realized that, oh yeah, I believe that I'm irresponsible and I don't care about myself. And it shows up in me, my addiction to chocolate chip cookies or whatever it was, but that's what was showing up for her. It wasn't an exact reflection. It was something that it symbolized to her. Now, I'm going to talk a lot more in the upcoming episodes about how to tell if something is a mirror, but just to kind of bottom line it, give you a little carrot in terms of how mirrors show up. There's this foolproof method that if you start applying this and you start looking at yourself honestly, and by the way, you got to look at yourself honestly to see mirrors, can't hide. But the number one way that mirrors show up is by somebody or something pushing your buttons. And what do I mean by that? Well, buttons. I'll talk more about that in future episodes, but buttons are not always just anger. Buttons can be sadness, they can be jealousy, they can be just a general feeling of annoyance. All of that will indicate that a button is pushed. And basically a button is showing you that your fear-based consciousness has been awakened in some way to an old incident that is suppressed, and it's trying to come up by showing you a button and ultimately showing you a mirror. So I'm going to repeat myself because it's so important. If a button is pushed, there's always a mirror of something for you to see. It might be hard to admit, it might be hard to face it, but there's something always. And in the next couple of videos, I'm going to talk about how to locate those mirrors and what to do once you see them. Because it's not about just going, oh yeah, it's a mirror. There's things that we can do to resolve it. So I hope you've enjoyed hearing my little explanation about mirrors. And I hope you join me for the next episode where I talk about specific examples of mirroring and how to start resolving them in your life. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them in the comments section of this video, and I will personally be getting back to anybody that leaves me a question or a comment. Tune in next time and please hit like and follow. Royce Morales is my website, www.roycemorales.com. It's also under Perfect Life Awakening, which is the name of my course. I do offer live remote courses nowadays, and I also offer some individual inner journey adventure within sessions that I call spiritual cognition integration, which really helps you to resolve the source or the real core, the real roots of the issues that are being mirrored to you. I hope I see you again soon. Again, follow me and I will talk to you really soon and get more into discussing mirrors. Thank you.